Students, whatever homework is given to you, you have to submit it on the very next day between 8 am to 1 pm to the given WhatsApp number, and it is compulsory to submit your homework as your attendance will be marked on the basis of your submission.
Hello, students. I hope that you all were fit and fine at your home. Once again, we are on KGK online platform. Today, my dear students, we will study the new lesson from your class 11 English Hornbill textbook, and the title of this lesson is Silk Road, which is written by Nick Middleton. Who is this Nick Middleton? So let us see about this author, something about this author. Nick Middleton is an award winning geographer, writer, TV presenter, environmental scientist, and university lecturer. Nick is the author of 7 travel books, including the bestseller Going to Extremes, which accompanied a television series he wrote and presented for Channel 4 and the National Geographic Channel on extreme environments and the people who live in them. So, he is a good writer and he has written generally about the travelogue and travel journeys during his lifetime. What this lesson is trying to say, let us see, my dear students. The introduction of this lesson, Silk Road is a detailed account of the author's visit to Mount Kailash. हिमालयन रीजन में माउंट कैलाश करके एक पहाड़ है, उसकी विजिट ऑथर की खुद की मतलब निक मिडल्टन्स हिमसेल्फ विजिट द माउंट कैलाश, and whatever happens during this journey that is described over here. He visited the place to do the Kora, and Kora means परिक्रमा, और परिक्रमा हम करते हैं इस पवित्र माउंटेन की, माउंट कैलाश की परिक्रमा के लिए. He was going there, and whatever he experienced over there, that is described here. With other pilgrims यानी यात्रालु, पवित्र यात्रालु. The whole description is quite interesting as it reveals many unknown facts about a journey up the most difficult terrain in the world. Now let us see the summary of this lesson and the story of this lesson. This article, it's not any story, but it is generally, we can say, the essay like description which is given by the writer, by the author himself. This article gives a record of an adventure from tenderly rolling hills of Ravu to Mount Kailash. Ravu hills are there, और ये लोगों ने रावू से अपनी जर्नी स्टार्ट की, and they will reach to Mount Kailash. In between the journey, whatever dangers and difficulties they are facing, that is describing over here. The motivation behind this journey was religious. The storyteller wanted to finish the Kora, means the parikrama, at Mount Kailash. Lamo is the driver, gave him a long-sleeved sheepskin coat because cold atmosphere is there, तो गर्म कपड़े पहनने पड़ते हैं to keep him warmer. And the narrator, the Titan, as silent, Titan, took a shortcut to get up the Chengtheng is an area, and they are using the shortcut to reach Mount Kailash from the place called Ravu. Yes, this route would take them southwest almost directly towards Mount Kailash. So southwest direction में उन्होंने अपनी journey start की. Then it involved crossing fairly high mountain passes. Titan said that there would be no issue if there was no snow. But if snowfall is there, then difficulties will be there. This alternate route took them crosswise over tremendous fields having parched fields. They saw a few gazelles and a great herd of wild asses. जंगली गधे भी उनको रास्ते में मिले. They noticed the clouds of dust rising in the sky. Yes, such kind of beauty, scenery you can see in the Himalayan region. Then the next lines, as the hills arrived again, they passed the shepherds tending their flocks, right? शेफर्ड ग्वाले वो अपने फ्लॉक्स यानी अपने भेड़ बकरियां लेके निकले थे. दीज मैन और वीमेन वर वेल रैप्ड एंड दे वुड पॉज एंड लुक एट द vehicle. Sometimes they would wave as the vehicle passed by them. So they are waving their hand to say goodbye when the vehicle passed by. When the car was close to the sheep, the animals would try to avoid the speeding vehicle by dodging to one side track that the narrator and Titan passed the dark tents of nomads in a lonely places. Some tents are there, tents like houses are there, and ships are also hovering, surrounding nearby their car also. Then what comes? A huge black dog, a Tibetan mastiff, would stand to guard outside. उसका जो प्रजाति थी वो थी टिबेटन मैस्टिफ, बराबर, और वो था ह्यूज ब्लैक डॉग. These dogs raised their enormous, मतलब very huge, giant heads erect and viewed the narrator's vehicle. As the vehicle came nearer, they would begin yapping and kept running towards their vehicle. Sometime हमारे साथ भी होता है, सुबह सुबह बाइक या फोर व्हील लेके निकलते हैं तो कुत्ते हमारे पीछे भौंकते रहते, फिर व्हीकल की स्पीड स्लो करते तो अपने आप चले जाते हैं. The dogs were totally fearless of their vehicle. Tithan had to apply the brake and turn aside. उनको भी ब्रेक लगानी पड़ी, तब जाके डॉग ने पीछा छोड़ा. The dogs would quit barking simply in the wake of pursuing them off the property. Then they entered a valley. The snow-stopped mountains were visible on the horizons. The river in this valley was wide and for the most part obstructed with ice. तो नदियाँ भी ठंडी की वजह से पूरी तरह क्या हो गई थी? आइस हो गई थी, बर्फ हो गई थी. The track held near the river bank and wound with the curved banks, right? जैसे नदियों में भी इंजरी हुई हो. Cracks are there, snowy surfaces you can see because minus temperature is there. Yes, and the same lines are there. So the river banks and all these things are over here. See the photographs like this. Rivers are full of ice and atmosphere. Then they says gradually they gained height. अब उनकी जो कार थी वो ऊपर जाने लगी हाइट पे. And the valley sides closed in. They were climbing up the hill. The turns became sharper and the ride bumpier. Tithan drove in third gear. कार third gear में चल रही थी बेटा, right? And the narrator felt the pressure building up in his ears. He held his nose, snorted and cleaned them. Because pressure height पे जाओगे तो nose और ears close होने लगेंगे, पतली हवा हो जाती है. They struggled round another tight bend and Titan stopped and he opened his door and jumped. Daniel too left the vehicle. तो Titan, Daniel ये सब थे उसमें. There was snow on the track. It stretched for about 15 meters snow and then it became smaller and the dirt trail reappeared. There was no way around the snow patch as there was snow on the either side. Moreover, the bank was too steep for their vehicle to scale. They were at 5210 meters above sea level. Titan grabbed a handful of dirt and he flung them across the icy top layer. The narrator and Daniel joined him and threw dirt. उससे क्या मालूम पड़ेगा हवा का रुख कौन सी साइड है. Then Titan drove the car slowly and carefully on the icy surface. Daniel and the narrator stayed out of the vehicle to lighten Titan's load. And 10 minutes later they stopped at another blockage, क्योंकि रोड्स स्नो की वजह से ब्लॉक होते रहते थे. This time Titan decided to try and drive around the snow. The slope ढलान थी. The slope was steep and full of big rocks. Somehow Titan got passed over the difficult route. and once he cut a very sharp bend, they continued to climb in the bright sunshine. They crept past 5400 meters up हो गए थे अब वो उतनी हाइट पे थे and the narrator's head began to beat horribly. He took gulps from a water bottle and finally they reached the top of the pass at 5515 meters up वो चले गए थे बराबर ना and then they says there was a large cairn of rocks बहुत सारे पत्थर हमें रास्ते में ऑब्स्ट्रक्ट कर रहे थे और वो ऐसे थे इस तरह से पत्थर सब जमे हुए थे इट वॉज डेकोरेटेड विथ वाइल्ड सिल्क scarves and ragged prayer flags. They took a turn round the cairn in a clockwise direction. ऐसे उनकी कार घूम रही थी clockwise direction. जैसे अपने माउंट आबू ऐसे जाते तो कैसा ड्राइविंग होता है इस तरह से टर्निंग होते हैं ऐसे द लोअर एटमॉस्फेरिक प्रेशर वॉज अलाउिंग द फ्यूअल टू एक्सपांड इट कुड बी डेंजरस सो सैतान एडवाइज्ड देम नॉट टू स्मोक अभी कोई स्मोकिंग या कुछ भी करेगा नहीं बिकॉज यहाँ प्रेशर हाई है तो ब्लास्ट हो सकता है पेट्रोल से मिक्स होके एज द मूव डाउन द अदर साइड ऑफ द पास द नैरेटर्स headache soon cleared. It was at 2 o'clock and they stopped for lunch and they ate hot noodles inside a long canvas tent. Right. The plateau was pockmarked with salt flats and brackish lakes and by late afternoon they had reached the small town of Hor. एक छोटे से टाउन पे पहुंचे नूडल्स खाई उन्होंने लंच में दे वर बैक ऑन द मेन ईस्ट वेस्ट हाईवे and it followed the old trade route from Lhasa to Kashmir. Daniel found a ride in a truck to return to Lhasa. Daniel Lhasa में ट्रक से वापस आया Satan got the punctured tires repaired हो गया The narrator found Hor Agrim. Hor village था miserable place था with no vegetation. कुछ भी नहीं था या वनस्पति कुछ भी नहीं इतना स्नो था चारों तरफ They had tea in Hor's only cafe and they left Hor after half an hour and they drove past rocks and rubbish westwards towards Mount कैलाश पे पहुँचे ऐसा कुछ दिखता है बेटा माउंट कैलाश राइट मतलब इस तरीके से इनकी ये जर्नी इट्स अ जर्नी विथ एडवेंचर सो एडवेंचरस जर्नी come to an end and they finally reached to the Mount Kailash as per their convenient and here I can say that this is the adventurous journey by these great people yes and now students you have to read this story thoroughly revise it and learn the question answers it will come in your unit test right so thank you and take care